Good evening, everyone. Today I am Ashish Negi, Data Science and Business Analytics Intern at Sparks Foundation under the Graduate Rotational Internship Program. So today I will be briefing about my task number 4 under the Data Science and Business Analytics tasks. So task 4 states that I have to do an exploratory data analysis on terrorism. Performing AD on the dataset that is given to me named as globalterrorismdb. That stands for database, right? And here we will try out. Here we will be trying out to find out the horizons of the terrorism. So let's start with my code and all stuff. So these are the all files that I will be providing you with my GitHub and with my YouTube link. And with this you can access the README TXT file that stands for the all of the sorts of things that you need to know before going into the codes. So the workflow behind my implementation of the EDA is we will be reading the data, analyzing the and understanding the data, then we will be cleaning the data, then we will plot the data, and at the end we will infer some conclusions using that plots. Okay, and after this we can I would like to also highlight the fact that I have uh, I have also mentioned the data sets link that I will be using here. That initially this will be like that, and as you extract it from the given data, and you can access this will be our data set that we are currently working on. All right, so let's jump into our code. And first firstly I have segmented my codes into certain steps and sub steps, so please be patient, and I hope it will be a very learning journey for you, right? Okay, so my first step would be importing all the required libraries that we are using to in this Jupyter notebook. And after it, I have provided the dataset link that I have shown you earlier. And my sub step would be I would be reading the dataset, and you can also use this code after changing the file path according to your computer. And please don't change this encoding Latin.1. And df.head actually returns you the first n number of rows that you are using. Okay, and then we will be understanding and cleaning the data. Df encode, df shape will be providing you the columns and rows, and df column values. These are actually the columns that are present in my data sets. And after this, we are having a describe function that is used to define a concise summary of the data frame using like the count, main std, main percentage, and all these things. And our next step will be the cleaning the data. Firstly, we will be checking out like is there any null value in the data set. If it's there, we will try to clean it up. Yeah, and these are some of the basic things like wounds, kills, and we will be counting the total casualties using the sum of kill and wounds. And we will be storing the or defining the function in the city, that city is replaced by the Baghdad, right? So these are some things, and you can clearly see that these are some things that we don't need in these things, right? So we will try to rename these things firstly. So here I have tried to rename things like with I year, with year. I'm what is I month? I think it's a month. So I day will be replaced by month, will be day. G name will be by the group. G name stands for actually the group name, so we are replacing it with the group. Country txt stands for country, region txt stands for region, and all stuff like that, right? And the year, month is the these things. And like you can see that we have replaced our columns headings like here year, month, day, and all. And similarly, yeah, here it has been replaced. So now checking out what's our defined shape, and this is our shape. These are the number of rows present in our data set, and these are the columns that are present in a data set, right? Second step would be the exploratory data analysis, and here I have tried to plot out the graphs using the C the Seaborn library and the Matplot library. And you can see, and we can clearly see out that the maximum attacks were in the year of 2014. You can clearly see that, yeah. and the minimum data attacks were in the 1971. From here you can see that this graph is actually increasing day by day, so it's a very threatening and alarming situation for us right now. So according to this, and let's look into the terrorist attack region wise, like in which region, according to the continents or region actually we are talking about, and year wise we are dealing with these things, right? So in the y-axis we are plotting the number of attacks in the region, and these are the years. So we can clearly with this graph we can see that the purple part that is actually the Middle East and the North African regions are worstly affected, are worstly have region affected by the terrorist activities, and the countries that face most number of terror activities are Iraq, Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, Colombia, Philippines, Peru, and all of these. And we have tried to group out the groups that are involved in these such activities, that are Taliban, Islamic State of Iraq and Levant, and the Shining Path, and all these terror groups are actively participating in these terrorist activities. And further going to the countries that are top affected by these things, I have tried to plot the graph and with the rotation of 50. Yeah, so Iraq is the country that is mostly or widely affected by these things, and I think this data have also outputted it as the same thing. So I've just tried to visualize. I have tried to make it in the visual forms, right? And with this data, we can also see that Turkey is the region with the least number of terror activities. Yeah. So the number of people that died due to attack year-wise, I have tried to plot the graph of that thing, and the number of people are like it's a huge number. Like the things that should not be happening, but it's happening right now. So in the year of 2014, most number of people were killed, and it's more than actually 40,000 of people, so that's a huge number. And the cities that are most affected due to these terror activities is the Baghdad is the city that is highly affected by the terror activities, and many other activities like with the Karachi, Lima, Mosul, the Belfast, and the Santiago. All these cities are hugely affected by the terror activities, and we will classify or we will analyze the name of the attack with the number of attacks. So the type of attacks are basically the bomb explosion, armed and assault, assassination, hostage or kidnapping, facility or infrastructure attack, unknown attacks, or or unarmed assaults. These are some types of attacks that usually takes place, and we can clearly say that bombing and explosion are the types of attacks that have hugely taken place in due course of time, and the minimum attacks that have been occurred in these years is the hijacking. And with this we can also see the number of people killed by the attack time, and with the most number of people that are killed with the armed assault, like people all the way the bombing explosions are not very far from these things, but armed assault and the bombing explosion type of attacks are very dangerous for the mankind. And checking out the number of wounded can be counted with the number of casualties plus number of people who have been killed. And we can see that the people who have been affected or that who have caused casualties due to the bombing explosion is very high. And we can see that the attacks per, and I have tried to plot a graph of attacks per year, and in this graph I am actually predicting the attacks per year based on the attack type. So private citizens properties, military police, government general businesses, transportation, these are the areas or these are the maximum attacks per year that were made in the private citizen and the properties. Mostly the normal people or the private citizen properties are being affected with these attacks. And going through the top 10 terrorist group activities, we will be seeing that Taliban is a highly active terrorism group right now. ISIL and SL, FMNL and Al-Shabaab, all these are the terrorist groups, top 10 terrorist group attacks that are taking place right now. And going through the next analysis that I have done is the number of people killed by the 10 terrorist attack, by the 10 top terrorist group attack. So Islamic State of ISL have killed the most number, or killed or have tried to kill the most number of people during these attacks. And with this, Taliban have also not been very far from killing the most number of peoples with this. And the country and the group country kills. And in this analysis I am trying to figure out the things that which group and which countries and how many number of people were killed out there. So in ISL is actually taking place in Iraq, that have killed around 31,000 people, and Taliban is currently in Afghanistan. I think and that's very devastating for us. It's one of our very own neighbor, and around 30,000 people have been killed over there too. And LTE, I think you have also been very familiar with these things. That is this group that is actually taking place in the Sri Lanka, that have killed over the 11,000, approximately 11,000 of peoples and all. So the number of people killed by the terror attack till now is very huge. It's 4,11,868 peoples. And further going, I have tried to classify the things according to the attack type, armed assault, assassination, bombings, facilities. These are the types of attacks and their kill values. So attack type is attack. These are the attack types column, and in the row we are representing the number of people that have been killed. So and in these things I have also tried to classify the things according to the number of people that have been killed in the proper countries. So countries that that have faced most number of kills are Afghanistan, it's approximately 40,000, Albania 42 people, Algeria, and it's a very huge data, you can see clearly from here. So with these conclusions and the results that we have drawn over this presentation or code, we have tried to figure out the things related to the terrorism, and the conclusions are as follows. Country with the most number of attacks is Iraq. City with the most number of attacks is Baghdad. Region with the most number of attacks is Middle East and North Africa. Year with the most attacks was 2014, and month with most number of attacks was May. Group with most terror attack activities is Taliban. Most attack type is bomb and explosions. So I would request to all of you that we should be very productive to ourselves, to our countries, and it's a very basic need of a man or mankind, that we need to maintain the peace on this earth. And for that, one should be self-reliable, self-independent, and should think about his country and its countrymen. Not only the countrymen, I would say, over the whole mankind. So thank you all. So thank you all of you. And for more information, you can just contact me with this number, or email me for any suggestions and all. And the Spark Foundations, I would like to thank to the Spark Foundations for this huge internship, or this very grateful internship right now. And you can also grab this opportunity by enrolling on their website, that is http that's internship.sparksfoundation.info. It's a very unique platform, and I hope you can have a better future from there. And with this, we came to end of our session.